Hey, this is Matt Bride. Welcome to the Response Podcast. Got today here Aaron Todd. Want to talk to you guys about faith, family, and friends. Kind of promote to the community a little bit deeper friendship and sense of understanding with each other. We don't normally get through our social media platforms. So this is Aaron. He's into sales, and he's got a couple other things going on to talk to you about.
Hey guys, my name's Aaron, Hot Rod Todd. For a living, I sell cars, and then I'm a husband and a father of two. And then on the side, as of the last 6 months, I've been helping people rebuild their credit and kind of get their finances in order. And just excited to do this podcast today.
So we met through like doing jiu-jitsu at the gym. Tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get into that?
My buddy texted me one day or messaged me, or he actually called me and he said, I've got a guy fixing to start teaching us jiu-jitsu. And I was like, heck yeah, that's awesome. I was probably about 18 years old, and I had to Google what jiu-jitsu was. And so we started training with the guy. We would meet at the old wrestling ring in Boaz, and he had been a state champion wrestler and got into jiu-jitsu. It was just teaching us. We would train outside in the cold. I was the only one that would come every week, and just kind of evolved from that and started doing the cage fighting and jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I've been doing it for probably about 13, 14 years now, I would think.
I think it's really interesting. I've done karate for a long time now, and some other forms of striking, but jiu-jitsu is interesting in the sense that you can kind of go all out with somebody and get some really good training in without hurting each other whenever you kind of learn it and know what you're doing a little bit.
Without leaving the gym injured.
Yeah. And I think it's probably the most effective, too, for one-on-one to grab a hold of somebody and kind of control them or manipulate them however the situation would call for.
Most definitely.
So about your car sales, enjoying that, doing pretty well with it?
Doing pretty good. I averaged 25 a month last year, and I've been doing it going on 7 years. I love it. I like just the sales portion because you can control your paycheck. If you want to work hard and do extra things, you can make more money than if you just sit around and talk all day. And so I like that, and I like just kind of helping people pick out the right vehicle and things like that. And so it's a really good job, really good company to work for.
Yeah, that's what I haven't worked with the public that much. I've got my customers, through my car stuff, but that's one thing that's kind of this podcast is promoting is kind of a sense of community. That's one thing I kind of lack, to be honest with you, like with the cars and the way I run my business is just very closed to the public, so to speak. So I think that's cool that you get to deal with people and interact on a daily basis and
lots of crazy people.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of good ones though.
There's a lot of good ones.
You meet a lot of new friends and stuff.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So what about the credit repair stuff? You want to talk about that some?
Okay. So selling cars for 6-7 years, you realize a lot of people come in that have bad credit. They had bad credit a long time ago, and they just never did anything with it. So I started teaming up with a couple companies that help people build positive credit history. So if you just don't have a lot of credit at all, it's extremely easy to build your credit up fast because you don't have a lot of bad things on there, or they're 2, 3, 4 years old. Then you can get some positive stuff going, and it builds your score up really quickly. And so there's a couple of them, like you literally just save money and you build your credit up each time you make your payment. My wife's scores jumped up 150 points, really, just paying her credit cards off, and then, with this program that you save money on. And a year from now, we'll have some money saved up and her credit's built up. And so that just kind of got me to thinking, if I sell somebody a car, and a lot of times I sell somebody a 2021 and they traded in their 2020, I haven't affected the world or changed the world in a bit. But if I could help somebody build their credit up and they get approved for a house where they've been paying rent forever, or they get approved at a 5% interest rate where they've been paying 27% interest rate, and all that extra money is going to vacations or paying off other debt, then I've done something and I've helped out. And so I really believe that that's a very big calling on my life. I'm just kind of dabbling with it at the moment, but I plan and hope to make it a full-time career, just helping people get their finances in order.
That's cool. That's a really cool thing, I think. A lot of people don't, that's why I want to work with children in the future. I think there's a lot of a lot of people that don't get that information they need at a young age. It's things that we should be taught earlier in life that we're not. I don't know, just some parents are lacking that information, right, or lacking that discipline in their own life. And
most of the time you'll see is their parents aren't good with money, and so they they never teach them to be good with money. I have an aunt, and she taught both of her kids as children like how to manage money, and my uncle did the same thing. My first cousin was 19 years old or 18 years old with $9,000 in the bank. I was a full-grown adult before I ever had even close to that. And so you just got to instill those kind of things at when they're children, so that way they don't have to be 31 years old getting their finances together and getting their credit built back up.
That's awesome. So you go to the Life Point Church over here. You got some really good people, I guess.
Most definitely.
How long have you been a Christian?
I've been a Christian. I got saved when I was probably about 9 or 10 years old. I've been in ministry and just really pursuing God since I was about 15. I'm 33 now. And then I've been going to Life Point since I was about a senior in high school. And Life Point, the thing I love about it is talking about the title of this is Respond, and there's no doubt in my mind that if our house was to catch on fire, that somebody from our church would be there before the fire department. They just are really good to respond to a situation and just to help out when needed, and that's the reason I love my church. And so it's been a good thing in my Christian walk to be involved in a church that's like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what a lot of this podcast and a lot of these things I'm trying to do is coming from was kind of to work with people more, and I think that's a huge calling we all have, to interact with the community and interact with people in a sense. If it's kind of a sad, I wish I had the statistics right here in front of me, the people that would call themselves Christians in America that don't have that call, they don't have that sense in their heart of community, and I thought Jesus wanted us to reach people and make disciples, and
we're definitely meant to live in community. Say with Adam, when he created Adam, it was God said it wasn't good for him to be alone, and so we're definitely created to be in community. And I have a buddy that he always had a friend that could be a Christian, or he was a Christian, supposedly, but he didn't really believe you had to go to church and all that, and I don't think you have to, but it's just extremely helpful. Like small groups, we've been a part of multiple small groups, and that just, you grow substantially in Christ in a small group, and then of course in your church gatherings, and so I definitely think community is a big deal.
It's kind of led me to, I think that's where I started. I tried to start meeting people in the church by serving, and it's funny now. I think I'm on like 5 or 6 teams because I just all at once just wanted to give back. So I signed up for every area that I could help in, and we met some people in the church, and then we needed to rearrange our close personal relationships. So the ones that were unhealthy, we kind of ventured away from, and we found a small group of friends that is in the same walk we're in, and I think that's really important to
Most definitely
get those close relationships. So also had it called in my heart to start working with kids and teaching people. So it's led me back into martial arts. You know, I started getting back into it as a hobby, and kind of venturing back into it as a passion to teach and help people. So if you guys are interested to come learn some jiu-jitsu, we've got a seminar on the 29th this month, so you guys can come get a kind of introduction in a safe way to start exploring that. I think it's great for kids, adults, women, self-defense, great mental health benefits to it. Great for police to learn their proper techniques for controlling someone. So yeah, the 29th on in Albertville. If you guys message me, get with me on getting signed up for that. You want to tell these guys how you can kind of get involved with your credit program, or?
The best way to do that would just be message me on Facebook, Aaron Todd, and I'll get you started in a couple different things. I would love to help out. I don't make a dime off of it. I just thoroughly enjoy it. I have a job to make a living, so that's not the point of it. I just would love to help people get in a better situation. So just message me, or you can call me at 256-298-3647. I'd love to talk to you about getting your finances situated. A lot of it's more important than just getting your credit score up. When you get your credit score up, that just means you can borrow more money. And so I want to help you learn to save money, to get your bills caught up, to get your finances in order. So it's just I want to help you with everything, not just getting your score up, but of course that plays a role in it as well.
So just into your background a little bit, what kind of made you what got you into selling cars? Just curious.
I was working for AT&T, and I was having to drive an hour back and forth to work, and so I was just looking for something closer to home. I always stayed in the top 20% of the company in AT&T and did really well, and so I started selling cars. In my very first month, I didn't sell any cars. I was a nervous wreck. We went on a mission trip, and so I come back from the mission trip, and I was like, I've got to sell something. And still, 2 weeks later, still didn't sell anything. And I thought maybe I'd missed God and didn't hear Him correctly. And it took a while for me to get going and just kind of really learn the process. I feel that I'm a slow learner. And now that I kind of have repeat customers and people refer people to me, it just makes it easy. And you just really get to enjoy selling cars. A lot of times, used car salesmen have a terrible stigma on them, and they're crooks and all that. And when you're starting selling to friends and family members and people who refer you really understand that people are nice and that they're not going to treat you like you're just a used car salesman every time. And so that makes it fun. And you're just like, the new vehicles that are coming out are exciting. I don't really get excited about vehicles, but everything kind of the world changing to an electric vehicle and just everything that's coming out, I really love that. And just getting to meet people and then the situations where I do have customers come in that have credit issues and I'm able to get them in a vehicle and they got the next baby on the way and they got to have more room, and I mean that just makes it all worth it. And so
that's cool. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. I had an uncle that sold cars for like probably 30 something years or 40 years from everywhere on this mountain and beyond. And I think the way he just personally ran his life left a bad taste in my mouth.
I got you.
And I was offered a sales job, I think at 18, by Ken Sexton up at Boaz Chevrolet, or Kilpatrick Chevrolet back then. And I probably could have went that direction. I maybe should have. I don't know, but I don't know. It just, like I said, it had like many others, it left a bad taste in my mouth with actually dealing with people on a daily basis didn't really sound appealing to me. Like I said, I've always been antisocial, so that's what makes this podcast a bit awkward for me. But like I said, through experiencing God, through meeting God, and understanding, trying to understand daily who Jesus was, I feel like we're led to people. So as uncomfortable as this is for me and antisocial as my true nature is, it's not who we're called to be. So reach out to your neighbor. That's what this whole thing's about. Reach out to your neighbor. Reach out to your, and I'm not talking about a like on Facebook or a friend request. I'm talking about some conversation, some good eye contact, and some friendliness will go a long way in this world, I believe. Y'all can reach out to me about the jiu-jitsu. I'm on hold with the car stuff for a while. I'll probably be taking in work on any automotive restoration for several more months. So, if you need some martial arts training though, we got plenty of things going on there. So holler at me on that. And I guess we'll end this with like the $1 million question, Aaron. So, what's God's purpose for your life? Do you feel like? Do you have anything that you feel led to do in a certain direction that you want to talk about?
I believe that my purpose is the credit repair. I was in a sermon about 4 or 5 years ago, and they say if something bothers you really bad, you're called to deal with it and do it. And I had my pastor preached on Jesus flipping the tables in the synagogue, and I actually read up on it some last night. And the reason he was angry is because they were taking advantage of the poor. People had traveled in there and to make their yearly sacrifices, the old system, and so he flipped the tables because they were taking advantage of the poor. Talked about title ponds and things like that. My pastor did, and so it just really got my mind thinking of the way these companies are taking advantage of the poor, and just the poor will always be with you as a scripture. And so it just got me to really thinking, and I asked that question 4 or 5 years ago: what would it be like to change the title pond world and to change that atmosphere? Where if I created a company that did ethical title ponds, where people just have to, you borrow money, you would try to coach them out of that. But if they just had to borrow money, that they could borrow in an ethical, godly way. And if I can make a big enough impact in North Alabama to cause the other companies to have to change the way they're doing it, that would be pretty awesome. And so I really feel like, and a lot of times you go through things in life, or I believe I got into mixed martial arts so I could have my MMA ministry that I had for 4 years, or like I went through credit issues myself, and had to was making great money, behind on my bills, 500 credit score. And so it took me kind of crawling out of that hole myself to learn how to kind of help people get out of it. And so I believe that was part of, that was part of my life, and part of my destiny was to go through stuff like that so I can learn to help other people. And so I truly feel like that is the end goal for me, is to retire with several businesses that help people rebuild their credit and get their finances in order. Because like I said, once you do that, you've literally changed generations. You didn't just affect that person's life. You affected their whole family's life if you can do a well enough job at it. And so that's what I really believe God's purpose is in my life. And I'm starting to see it unfold, and it's exciting. I did a fast for one of my friends, and it took 6 years, but all throughout the 6 years things unfolded, and I could see God working in that. And I feel that's the same thing now. I'm definitely not where I want to be. I'm definitely not making a living at it. I'm definitely getting called scammer and every name in the book. People want to fight me. They just literally just want to help people build their credit. But I can see God working in it, and I know the end will be really, really good. And so that's what I'm excited about.
That is cool, and it seems like there's a big gap there between the two, because like you said, it seems, from the outside looking in, or from all aspects of how it's always been done before, like a crooked business. But I love junk. Whenever I was a teenager, I thought I would, because that's where I shop at. It's like pawn shops and thrift stores, and anything used I can find on Marketplace. That's my kind of shopping. And I love junk, but I always thought I might want to have a pawn shop. But even before Christ, I was convicted of that business. The way they tend to take advantage of people. The way the interest rates are ran in that particular business are unethical. They're ungodly for the most part. I'm sure there's
some out there,
but All right. Well, I appreciate you guys listening. Hope you reach out to Aaron for any of your credit repair stuff and car sales, and reach out to me if you want to learn some martial arts in the near future. And we appreciate you guys.